Hello everybody, my name is Jessica. Welcome back to Budget Freedom. I have started a 30-day budget walkthrough on Instagram, and I will also be making videos here so that you can follow along. If you want to find us on Instagram or on Facebook, just look up Budget Freedom and you'll see my face, and you'll be able to connect with us and follow or share whatever it is that you do along with it. Go ahead and like and subscribe to these videos as well, because we will be putting up videos every week for the budget follow along. So you can also just catch a weekly video here and follow along that way if you like, and ask questions in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, so what I decided to do is show you how I would set up my budget from scratch. And I am giving you one simple thing to do a day on Instagram or Facebook. One simple thing to do a day to set up your budget correctly. So I think that this is a really great walkthrough and example for anybody who does not have a budget working currently, that they show you how to set it up, or for someone that does have a budget set up that maybe just wants to refresh it or review it, make sure there's something you didn't forget or something you could be doing better. You know, every day is an opportunity to learn. I learn new things every single day. So if you want to improve, if you want to do better, go ahead and follow along, and I'm sure that you're going to get a lot of great information. And if not, just go ahead and support the other people who are on their financial journey and starting out their budget. I'm sure that you would be able to offer some great tips and advice to them as well. And that's always needed in any community. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is setting up your budget. So the first thing that I would do when I'm setting my budget is obviously gather all my bills together. You might think, oh, well, doesn't everybody already have that organized? You'd be quite surprised how many people know that they have bills, but they don't really know the order, the total, how much the total amount adds up to, what day it goes off. So it's just a great place to get started. So I would start really simple. Just get a normal pen and paper, 10-15 minutes, sit down and write down all your bills. When you're writing down all your bills, also remember to write down their due dates. This is important. Again, you'll learn why as we continue with the budgeting journey, but make sure that you write down their due dates as well. And when I say bills, I mean anything that you need to pay every single month. For example, like either your rent or your mortgage, all utilities, subscriptions, phone bills, internet bills, car payments, minimum credit card payments or minimum debt payments. Those are also unfortunately bills because you have to pay them every month. Trying to think of something else. Insurances that you'd have to pay is obviously a monthly bill. So bills are things that you're going to pay every single month, and normally are debited from your bank account. You need to write them all down on a list and write down their due dates and the amount that you have to pay. For credit card or debt payments, if you have student loans or personal loans, go ahead and write down the minimum amount due that you have to pay every single month. Okay, that's important. And again, we'll get into it later on when we continue with the budgeting, but you want to make sure that you have all that information ready for you. So that's step number one. Step number two is writing down your variable expenses. What are variable expenses? Variable expenses are things that you spend money on every month, but that change. Food is your number one. Okay, so food is a variable expense because you might spend more or less in different months depending on how much disposable income you have in the month. The goal with budgeting is to get that amount to be steady every single month. I don't know if you know how much you spend on food right now a month, but most people are quite shocked when they actually track it and figure out how much they're spending. Remember, food includes eating out. It includes those Starbucks runs in the morning. It includes anywhere that you buy food. So it'll add up quite quickly. And it's the number one place you can actually save money in your budget. So once you start watching how much you're spending on food, your budget is going to get a lot stronger and you're going to be able to start saving a lot more. So write down all your variable expenses: food, personal care, if you're getting your hair done or nails done, makeup, if you're a guy, haircuts. Well, women also get haircuts, but maybe not as often. Whatever it is that you have to spend money on every month for that kind of stuff. If you're buying clothing, entertainment is a big thing. Eating out is included in food, but you could put it separate if you wanted. If you have kids, you're probably having expenses that you have to pay for your kids, either after school expenses or daycare, sports, whatever it is that you have to spend money on for them. Pets also are another big thing. Trying to think of some other ones here. You should always have a miscellaneous amount of money for every month so that you can have money available to be able to spend on things that you might not think you would have to spend on for that month. I think that's about it that I can think off the top of my head. But again, variable expenses are things that are, it's not a bill like we just talked about. It's not something that needs to come off your bank account in a set amount every single month. It's something that can change from month to month, and it's money that you'll just be spending throughout the month for different reasons. So that would be the next thing. Write down all your variable expenses. I know that you might not be able to think of everything every single month that you might need ahead of time. You know, next month your kid might need a brand new pair of shoes because they grew too fast or they broke them. That's why you have a miscellaneous category. So you would write down food, personal care, clothing if you need, kids if you need, entertainment. If you go out and you want to have money to spend with your friends, that's entertainment. Miscellaneous. And if there's anything else that you can think of, pets. And then you would put a budgeted amount for each one. So you would write down how much you want to spend for each category or how much you think you should spend for each category. And then keep that in a separate place. So now you should have two pieces of paper, one with all your bills with the due dates and the amounts, how much you have to pay for each bill, including your debt and credit cards, minimum amount dues, on one piece of paper. On the next piece of paper, you should have your variable expenses. Again, those are other things you spend money on throughout the month: food, personal care, kids, pets, eating out, entertainment, and so on. Okay, so you have two lists. Getting ready to get your budget together, okay? And this is the prep work that you need to do. And while doing this work, it should get your brain thinking. It should get you starting to pay attention to things and just slowly ease you into the idea of budgeting and to really helping you understand your finances and where you want to go with them. Step number 3 is analyzing and compiling your total income for the month. This can get a bit complicated depending on your living situation. Obviously, if you're a single household, you're the only person bringing in money, then it would be your minimum salary. I say minimum salary, net salary, so that means after your taxes are deducted. So I don't want to know that you're earning $3,000 a week, but after deductions it's $2,500. I just want to know, okay, after deductions you're getting $2,500 in your bank account. That's what I want to look at, money that's actually coming in the bank account, okay? So if you're the sole earner, then it's pretty simple. If you're on an hourly wage, obviously that can change from week to week. So that's why I say you would want to write down your minimum income, okay? So if you know on a minimum I'm going to be working 40 hours a week or 35 hours a week, however it is that your job has arranged this with you, or just out of experience, if you know that you're not going to get more than so many hours a week, work on the minimum. So that way you know that, okay, for sure I'll be getting that money. If you get a little bit more, that's just a cherry on top. That's just extra. You don't want to budget on the more amount, because if you budget on the more amount and then you make less, you're going to have expenses you're going to need to pay that you're not going to have the money for. So it's a lot better to budget on the lower amount and have extra money left over at the end of the month that you can throw into savings or roll into the next month than the other way around. So if you get paid weekly, write down weekly. First, obviously payday and how much you expect to be getting. Bi-weekly, same idea, or monthly. Obviously you'd have one amount. If you have any side hustles or extra jobs, if they're pretty consistent and you really can count on their money, you can include that, but again, include the minimum amount. If you are married, depending on your marital arrangement, if you have separate bank accounts and you and your husband contribute a certain amount of your salary, then you want to take that amount that you guys have agreed is your budget. Okay, so if you're contributing $4,000, your husband's contributing $4,000, and that's going into a shared bank account for bills, that needs to be your budget. Okay, so whatever you're keeping on the side or he's keeping on the side, don't include that in your budget, because again, you need to be working on figures that you can count on for your budget so that you know that that money will come in and you'll be able to pay bills out of that amount. If you are living with a boyfriend or a partner, again, same thing. Whatever your financial arrangement is with that person, work on the minimum contribution that they're going to be giving and your minimum contribution and total that up so that you have a clear understanding of what your monthly income is going to be, so that when you budget, you know what you're working with. I hope that this was helpful and again, got you thinking about the things that actually go into a budget. I don't want to scare people. Budgeting is really easy when you take it a little bit at a time and you get used to it and you don't make it overcomplicated. But at the same time, when you set up a budget for the first time, you do have to put a little bit of thought and a little bit of energy into it so that you set it up the right way and that you really understand it. So go ahead and guys, like and subscribe and hit the bell notifications and follow me on my budgeting setup journey. I'm going to walk you through it, show you exactly how I would do it. Again, on Instagram or Facebook, you guys can actually see screenshots of what I'm doing. Here I'm just talking about it. I will see you next week to maybe show you some examples on paper. And yeah, just help you guys get on track with your budget, revamp your budget if you have one going, and get excited about it. I'm excited about budgeting. I love budgeting. Personally, I look at my budget, both my personal and my business, every single day. And it really gives me a lot of satisfaction and happiness to see the growth that we're making, the progress that we're achieving, and just getting closer and closer to those financial goals. So to quickly just recap for you guys once again, first 3 steps for setting up your budget. Write down your bills, write down your expenses, figure out what your income is, and have that ready for step number 4. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.